You don't understand how this works. I need you to answer one question. Who do you think owns the water that comes out of your kitchen sink? Is it your city? Your mayor? The government? Nope, you are wrong. In thousands of American towns right now, maybe your town, the water flowing through your pipes is owned by the same people who own shopping malls, cell phone towers, and parking lots. Wall Street does own it. And here's the part that'll make your skin crawl. They're making money every single time you turn on your tap. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's a business plan. And by the end of this video, you're going to see your water bill in a completely different way. Let me show you how it works. Let's get into it. Imagine you're 10 years old and you have a lemonade stand. You've been running it all summer. But one day, your lemonade pitcher cracks. Water's leaking everywhere. You need a new pitcher, but it costs $50, and you only have $10 saved up. You're stressed. You're about to shut down the stand. Then a kid from the next street walks up. Let's call him Wall Street Wally. Wally says, "Hey, I'll buy you a new pitcher. But here's the deal. I own the lemonade stand now. You can still work here, but I keep all the money. And every week, you have to pay me $5 just to use the stand." You're desperate. You shake his hand. Wally buys the $50 pitcher. Then, for the next 10 years, he charges you $5 a week. That's $2,600 he makes off a $50 pitcher. And if you ever want your stand back, he says you owe him $300. That, in the simplest terms, is how private equity bought America's water. Here are full details of what actually happened. The year is 1999. The city of Bayonne, New Jersey has a big problem. Their water pipes are ancient. Some of them are over 100 years old. They're leaking. They're rusty. Fixing them would cost the city $300 million. The city doesn't have that kind of money. They're broke. So a huge company called Suez, a giant French water corporation, walks in and says, "We'll fix your pipes. We'll run your water system. Just sign this contract. It's been 40 years. We'll give you $150 million cash right now." The mayor thinks, perfect. We get $150 million. We don't have to raise taxes, and our pipes get fixed. So they sign the deal. Great, right? Not knowing what the contract actually said, and nobody reads the fine print. Suez gets to charge whatever they want for water. Suez gets to keep all the profits. If Bayonne ever wants their water system back, they have to buy it back for even more money than Suez gave them. So what happened? According to a 2017 report by a group called Food and Water Watch, they track this stuff. Between 1999 and 2016, people's water bills in Bayonne doubled. They went up 99%. Meanwhile, Suez paid itself $58 million in management fees. When the city asked to see Suez's financial records in 2012, Suez said, "That's private business information. You can't see it." Wait, the city's own water system, and they can't see the books? Exactly what they said. Finally, in 2020, Bayonne had enough. They bought back their water system. The price? $110 million. Let me repeat that. Bayonne got $150 million in 1999. They paid $110 million to get their system back in 2020. They lost money getting their own pipes back. Now let me introduce you to the biggest name in the game. They are called American Water. You've probably never heard of them, but they're massive and big company. As of 2024, American Water serves 14 million people in 24 states. That's more people than live in the entire state of Illinois. Here's the crazy part. American Water is a publicly traded company. That means you can buy shares of it on the stock market, just like Apple or Nike. And who owns the biggest chunks of American Water? According to government filings from 2024, Vanguard, one of the world's biggest investment firms, 9.2%. BlackRock, another giant, 7.8%. State Street, 4.1%. These are the same companies that own pieces of your grocery store, your bank, and your favorite streaming service. Now here's the key thing a 10-year-old needs to understand. When a company is owned by investors, its job is not to give you cheap water. Its job is to make money for the investors. And how do you make money selling water? You raise the price. In 2023, American Water made $4.14 billion in revenue. That's how much money came in. $766 million in profit. That's what they kept. And they paid $434 million to their shareholders, the investors. Let me use our lemonade stand again. Imagine you're running a lemonade stand, but this time you're in the desert. It's blazing hot. People are dying of thirst. You're the only lemonade stand for 100 miles. Your investors say, raise the price. These people have no choice. They'll pay. So you charge $10 for a cup of lemonade that costs you 50 cents to make. People complain, but they're thirsty. They pay. That's American Water's business model. Let me tell you about Rialto, California, because this is where it gets really sneaky. In 2011, the city of Rialto was in trouble. Their water system was old. They needed money. So they signed a 30-year contract with a private company backed by a Wall Street firm called Carlyle Group. The deal seemed simple. The private company operates the water system. They promise to fix the pipes. They collect all the money from water bills. But buried deep in the contract, on page 278 of a 456-page document, were some very tricky rules. Water bills would go up 7 to 10% every single year, automatically. No questions asked. If people used less water, like during a drought, the city still had to pay the company the same amount. If the city wanted out of the contract early, they'd have to pay the company $30 million for the profits they would have made. Let me make this super clear with a metaphor. Imagine your parents signing you up for piano lessons. The teacher says, you'll pay me $50 a month. Every year, the price goes up by $10, even if I don't teach you anything new. If you quit, you owe me $5,000 because that's what I would have made if you kept taking lessons forever. You'd say, that's insane. That's a trap. Exactly. And that's exactly what Rialto signed. By 2018, according to the Guardian newspaper, the average family's water bill went from $50 a month to $100 a month. The company made $24 million in profit. When the city tried to get out of the contract, they discovered the $30 million penalty. They were stuck. I know what you're thinking. If these deals are so bad, why do cities keep signing them? Great question. And the answer is going to make you mad. Because they're broke. Let me explain using a story. Imagine your family's car breaks down. The engine's dead. Fixing it costs $5,000. But your family only has $500 in the bank. A stranger walks up and says, I'll give you $5,000 cash right now. But in exchange, I own your car for the next 20 years. You can still drive it, but you pay me $300 every month. Your parents are desperate. They need the car to get to work. They need the cash. So they sign. That's what's happening to American cities. According to a 2022 report by the Brookings Institution, a research group, cities are getting less money from the government than they used to, 30% less since the year 2000. Meanwhile, water pipes are falling apart. The average pipe in America is 45 years old. The EPA, the government agency that checks water quality, says it'll cost $625 billion just to fix America's water systems. Cities don't have that money. So private companies say, we'll give you cash now, just sign here. And cities, desperate and out of options, sign. Okay, this next part sounds like science fiction, but it's real. In December 2020, something happened that had never happened before in American history. Water started trading on the stock market. Let me explain what that means. You know how people trade baseball cards or Pokemon cards? Someone says, I'll trade you my rare Charizard for your Pikachu, right? Well, now rich people can trade water the same way. It's called the Nasdaq Veles California Water Index. I know, a boring name. Here's how it works. Let's say California is in a drought. Water is scarce. A hedge fund, a company that invests money for super rich people, buys the rights to water, kind of like buying a ticket that says, I own 1 million gallons of water. Then they wait. The drought is getting worse. Farms are dying. People are thirsty. Water becomes more valuable. Now the hedge fund sells their water rights for triple the price. Think about that. They're making money off of people being thirsty. Let me give you the lemonade stand version. You and your friend are both running lemonade stands in the park. It's a super hot day. A rich kid buys all the lemons in the entire town before you wake up. Then, when you try to buy lemons, he says, "I'll sell you lemons, but now they cost $20 each instead of $1. You have no choice. You pay. That's what water futures allow. But here's the good news. Some cities said, no, we're taking our water back. Let me tell you about Atlanta, Georgia. In 1999, Atlanta signed the biggest water privatization deal in U.S. history, a 20-year contract with the same company, Suez. But within 4 years, everything went wrong. Water pipes started bursting. Breaks went up 300%. The company lost track of who owed what. 32,000 people had missing or wrong bills. Water quality got worse, not better. Finally, in 2003, Atlanta said, enough. We're done. They canceled the contract. They paid Suez $20 million to leave. And today, Atlanta's water is run by the city again. Bills are stable. Water is cleaner. The lesson? You can get your water back, but you have to fight for it. Since the year 2000, at least 58 American cities have taken their water systems back from private companies. It's not easy. It's expensive, but it's possible. Now, let's look ahead. According to the United Nations, the big group that tracks global problems, by 2030, just 6 years from now, the world will need 40% more water than we have. In America, the Southwest, California, Arizona, Nevada is in the worst drought in 1,200 years. Climate change is making droughts longer and worse. Now add this fact. Private companies and Wall Street firms already own water systems that serve 73 million Americans. So here's the question. When water runs out, who decides who gets a drink? The government or the company that owns the pipes? Here's what I need you to understand. Water is not like a TV or a bike. You don't want water. You need it. You'll die without it in 3 days. And right now, in America, the thing you need to survive is being bought, sold, and traded by people whose job is to make money, not to keep you alive. So the next time you turn on your tap, ask yourself, who owns this water? Who profits when my bill goes up? What happens if I can't afford to pay? Because here's the truth. Water doesn't care about profit margins. It doesn't care about shareholders. It doesn't care about quarterly earnings. But the people who control it, they do. And the moment you treat survival as a business, some people get to live, and some people don't. That's the story of the private equity firm that owns your tap water. If this makes you see water differently, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, because the people who profit from your confusion are counting on your silence.